Before we start this, I am compressing a lot of emotion. It's 4:30 in the morning, and besides, I completely forgot My Hero Academia and Rwby came out today. I was having a gaming night online with my friends from overseas, having tons of fun, and as I got off, then I discovered, oh shit, My Hero's out. I'm gonna go watch My Hero Academia. And I left 50-50 with that because Midoriya pisses me off in that thing, like most protagonists do. Everything else was alright, but wow. Then Rwby comes out, and I'm like, hey man, you got the... Yeah, I'm gonna admit it. Do you have the Daily Motion link so I can watch it for free? Because I don't want to give money to fucking shit anymore. And they're like, oh, it'll be out soon. And then I was just chatting on Twitter to a friend. I'm like, oh, fuck it, I'm gonna go to bed. And you could tell once Miles Luna jumps online and starts bragging about how great the next episode is and how they went ham on it. I just got on them and I'm like, send me the link. If he's bragging, it's out now. And watched it. And this has to be a combination review for episode 10 and 11. So let us just start with 10. 10 is kind of shit in general for everything. Like there is some planning from Ironwood. It's him showing that he's an actual military man. You know, something he hasn't done all fucking season is actually effectively use the military. And then in episode 10, he effectively planned shit out to entrap Watson Tyrion. And he's like, oh, I'm just looking at one clip of one reactor. Whoever's the chick with the sticky feet and the rocket launcher, Hammer. Two things that got me about her. Just because your feet stick to the floor doesn't mean you can stop a mammoth. That thing is way stronger than you physically. Your semblance is not super strength. Your semblance is to stick to objects. You should not... And then she picks up the fucking mammoth and throws it, and you're just like, what the fuck? Like, that's semblance level strength. And that's got nothing to do with her sticking to shit. And then the fact with her rockets, when two of her rockets blew up multiple Grimm, I was just like, wait. She works for the Elysian military. She gets her rockets from the Elysian military. Her rockets can instantly kill a Goliath. But you see all those ships? You know how we got hundreds of fighter craft? All of them are armed with piss-weak rockets that do nothing. It's stuff like this that makes me just like want to choke whoever designed this show. It's like, wouldn't the same rockets that she fires out of her rocket launcher be the same ones that these ships carry? Like, for fuck's sake. And it's weird, just going into this episode as well, is that Salem's whole plan with Tyrion, with Watts, with everything, her plan relies on Ironwood losing trust in Team Rwby and doing something stupid. Her whole plan relies on that because she doesn't use her forces that are now coming in episode 12. She doesn't get the mammoths and all the prehistoric Grimm along with whatever forces are about to show up. She doesn't just swarm the fucking city and destroy everything, causing chaos. No, she doesn't do that. She's like, we're going to send Tyrion and Watson. Okay, I'm trying to process this step by step to see if it actually makes sense. We're going to send Tyrion and Watson They're going to cause chaos by killing Ironwood's opponents, thereby making him framed and look bad. And, the people are going to get pissed, which will result in fear, leading the Grimm to attack. Why do you need fear for the Grimm to attack if Salem's sending in forces, which means that Salem has control over these Grimm? Unless you're insinuating that Salem only has control over specific Grimm, in which case, what exactly is the limits to how does she control them? Because then fear was never an option. Salem could have just commanded the Goliaths and all that to attack the city at some point anyway. Fear was never an option for this plan to take part. It's just dividing humans, which she does. I will point that out. That's something that's consistent. She divides humans. So whether fear is a factor or whether she can just command the Grimm remains to be seen. But at this point, the division is set. Now, what goes further into her plan is either A, the Grimm destroy all of Mantle. See, that's the thing. Are the Grimm actually in control of Mantle? Because if you're getting the humans out and bringing them to Atlas, that would insinuate that you've lost Mantle. But then in this episode, they're saying if you raise Atlas into the sky, you're going to sacrifice Mantle. But that's because you haven't completed the evacuation. So Ironwood has a plan, like a sub-plan. It's not his original plan, but it's a plan that Osborn had in the past, and he can modify Atlas as it is using the staff to launch it into the air. And given the evacuation's happening right now, that means he can launch it into the air right now. What? Don't get me wrong. I'm actually a big fan of this latest episode for a lot of reasons. But I'm standing back and I'm looking at Salem's plan in general. And I'm like, the one big thing for Salem's plan to actually make sense and work, because Salem has no contact right now with Cinder or Neo. They're rogue elements in this. So anything that Cinder and Neo are doing concerning the Winter Maiden is not part of Salem's plan. Salem cannot I'm going to get into that in a sec. I'm really going to get into that in a sec. I was about to say something and then I realized there's a big factor in this that's fucking with my head right now. But as far as Salem's plan goes, whether they fight and they withdraw the troops or the troops just retreat and they abandon Mantle, she's like, oh, I'm coming for you, and you just have... what if Watts killed Ironwood? What in the fuck is the point of the jelly bean shithead in his bag? Because that thing is never going to talk to him. That thing communicating with him, well, maybe he carries it around so that they can communicate to Salem. Did Ironwood even check to see what was in the bag? No, because if he actually opened the bag when he got it, he would have shot the fucking thing that was in there. Instead, he picks up a hacker's bag, takes it from Amity Arena and into his office at the academy without checking what's in it. For all he knows, that could be a bomb. Ironwood's an idiot. Jesus. Trying to process this plan is giving me a fucking headache. Okay. So Salem's plan is, okay. Whether or not... Because at this point in time of the previous episode, Salem could not know that Tyrion was gonna go after the three, Crow and all that. That was made up on the spot, so that's not part of the genuine overall Salem plan. The plan is to cause chaos, cause the Grim invasion, get him to go back, but then how... And then she's going to send in her troops afterwards. Her troops can fly. And they're grim against battle cruisers and hundreds of ships. And you're... What the fuck is Salem's plan? What? Hang on. You're gonna make him paranoid enough. Hang on, the whole sacrifice. See, all this stuff, like, oh, you're gonna sacrifice this and this and this. Are you trying to tell me what's lost on purpose? Because this is what it's starting to sound like. What's lost on purpose? And then you would have had to predict that Ironwood would say, I'm willing to sacrifice anything, to get in that mindset, that specific mindset, so that jellyfish dipshit can transform into Salem and go, ooh, you're willing to sacrifice anything according to my plan. Give me the relics, and you can stay alive. And then he's like, well, when I said I'd sacrifice anything, I meant anything except for the relics and the maiden. Yeah, we're not going to give that to you, even if we get wiped out. So you're willing to sacrifice anything, but you're not willing to sacrifice anything. And the priority is your people, but you're looking at the bigger picture to save the world. Ironwood's own ideologies conflict with each other. Because he's trying to do one thing while doing the other, while trying to do this, while trying to save this. Wow. Holy shit. Hang on, where am I going from this? Oh, the big thing. This is something that the only reason I've been going to reactor after reactor after reactor, watching review after review after review, and no one brings it up in their reaction or review. I have not seen one video on YouTube of a Rwby tuber bringing this up in their review, and it's the most interesting thing that takes part in both episodes by two different people on opposite sides of this conflict, and they both say the same thing and everyone's ignoring it. Cinder and Ironwood both say at different points that the timeline has changed. This is the most key piece of information this entire volume. If anything, you could count on it being the most important piece of information in the entire show up to this point, and no one's fucking going in on it, because this is hinting that they know what the timeline's like. But if they know what the timeline's like, that means both sides are capable of predicting events up to a certain point, and perhaps even predicting the future. Is this a time loop? Is what people are experiencing a time loop? Is this just happening over and over again? Is there some end game, and then the gods are restarting the cycle, and this is a constant loop trying to get Salem to learn from her mistakes? Is this a possibility? If this is the case, Ospen and Salem are telling the people that work for them what the time loop is like. In which case, why is Ironwood surprised by certain events that take place? Certain things, like the timeline has only changed, apparently, in the last episode and this episode, based on different people's perception. From Ironwood's perception, it's changed this episode. From Cinder's perception, it's changed last episode. So that's the amount of knowledge that they knew was going to happen. Given this information of timelines, you would be able to say everything that's happened in Rwby up till now, both sides should have already known about it. They would have known that Beacon was going to fall. They were going to know that this was going to happen. They should know about Rwby. They should know about, like Team Stark, Team Rwby and all. They should know all this shit. If this is some time loop shit that's going... I know this is a theory, but this is the most important piece of information in the show. I mean, other cool stuff does happen. And I'm going to go through it. Like, Salem talking to Rwby. I hated Ruby's reaction. Don't get me wrong. I wanted her to cry. But look at it this way. Salem comes up. She's interested in Ironwood. She's like, hey, an opposing general. Fuck, you're a cunt. That's Salem. And then you hear this little Rwby. And Salem's like, oh, fuck this bitch. I killed your goddamn mother. Your bitch mother? She said exactly what you said, and she dead. You never knew the bitch. So you keep saying that, and I'll put you in the ground next to your mum. And I loved it. I love watching protagonists suffer under harsh reality. Then Salem is just like, bye bitch, you come after me, I keep my word, you dead. And she breaks down and starts crying. And it's really bad crying. I'm sorry, Lindsay, but Rwby crying is pathetic. And then 2 seconds later, after she has this fucking mental breakdown, she gets up. Ironwood, you're doing the wrong thing. How dare you? I'm going to stand up to you. I didn't just hear that, Salem killed my mom and is pretty much promised to kill me. And she's saying, and she broke my whole mentality that my eyes went fucking haywire and I had a mental breakdown. But 2 seconds later, I'm in Ironwood's face going, you have to listen to me because as an 18-year-old white girl, I know more than you. That's honestly what it came across as. I'm just like, Team Rwby in this whole episode, please shut the fuck up. And this isn't just me. I have looked already in a few comment sections. I've already seen on Twitter. I've already seen on forums. People are siding with Ironwood. It's extreme, but a lot of the adult fandom understands the context of the greater good. It's more grounded in reality. It's like, it's very hard for a protagonist full of optimism to make a speech about saving everybody because no one at home is like, you can't save everybody. You should have learned that already, Rwby. I mean, come on. You just had a mental breakdown about this bitch killing your mother, and here you are going, oh, if we team up together, we can save the world. We can save everyone. We can save Mantle. We can save Atlas. We can save Vacchio. Like, bitch, your mum's dead. Hey, your mum is dead by this person. You can't save everybody. You won't save everybody. Where's Pyrrha? You couldn't save fucking Pyrrha? Look, come on. Wake up. This optimistic attitude is a load of shit. Grow up. That's what this scene is. And you're like, oh no, we're going to fight against Atlas. Yeah. Team Rwby, if you start a fight with the Aesops and Ironwood's already declared martial law and, the military that you're actually reliant on to save the day at the moment, he's in charge of them. Regardless, the military will do whatever he says. And you need the military and their guns and their weapons for the upcoming defense. So you may not like it, but if you start fighting against Ironwood and the Aesops now, you're fucked. You're literally fucked. I'm sorry. Ironwood's like won this argument, and it's not a nice thing to say because it's harsh reality, but he has. The military, the entire Atlesian military is not going to turn around and just be like, yeah, we're going to follow a fucking 17, 18-year-old girl. Because why the fuck not? Oh, yeah, and she's not even from Atlas. Oh, but why Schnee? Yeah. What do we know about this bitch? I mean, we might follow Winter. Maybe. But we're not going to follow why Schnee. Look, who the fuck is this bitch? I don't know. It's like, I'm going to use this time to actually go into the fight scenes. Ironwood and Watts was okay. It was okay. Good use of animation. I think the and the idea, like, you're taking in, like, I'm giving credit that the animation was good. The context of the anti-gravity with the dust and everything was good. They had a grasp on what both characters, like Ironwood having two guns. I was happy that came up. One of them's like a dust gun, the other one's a bullet gun. The only thing I think this scene actually needs to improve on is the choreograph of the actual scene. Some of it was great. Other parts, I was like, shoot him now. There are multiple times in their fight when you can, like, see what's on the ground, and Ironwood just walks over and, like, waits for him to get up, and you're just like, bang, 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 shoot the cunt. Even with Watts, there's times when Ironwood's after him, and he's just like, what, bang, shoot him in the back, shoot him in the head, do something. The platforms that Watts creates, it's like, as soon as you jump on it, Watts, and you jump off it, have it disappear. Like, when Ironwood was literally following him on his own platforms, I'm just like, why? And the one question that I kind of got was at the end of the scene where he does that thing with the force field that traps his hand in it. I had two things about that. The force field is actually created by machines. It's like on each corner of the force field are little metal pieces that are obviously creating the force field. And I'm like, why pull your arm out when this is your metal arm? Just reach over and break them, and then the force field will dispiriate. Could have just done that. And I was like, when you were jumping over the platforms and Ironwood steps on them, why didn't you, like, create a hole in the platform and his foot goes through, and then you seal him there, and then you could just drop him into lava. It's stuff like that. I always come up with these ideas. It's like, you're using that to trap him later on. Why didn't you do that earlier? Or why didn't you just, like, let him fall to his death? I'm very subconscious about how abilities get used in certain situations. If I can see ways to improve it, I look down on what I've already watched, and I had some of that going while watching that fight, but I was satisfied overall because it was a longer fight. I mean, it ended quite abruptly. That's what surprised me. As soon as he got his arm free, he pretty much just belt the shit out of Watts, which was a bit weird, but okay. And the Tyrion fight is a letdown. Whoever done, like, I find it very hard to believe that the people who did the Ironwood and Watts fight, I find it really hard to believe those people did the Tyrion fight. I think it's two completely different groups. Because when watching the Tyrion fight, I was just like, one, I could barely tell what's going on. I really don't like the point of view shots. It's like Tyrion's in your face stabbing you, and I'm like, no, show us what the fuck's going on. Like I like the scene in the opening where it's zoomed out and you can see people jumping around. I like that type of shit. You can see what the fuck's going on. There was a lot of cutting jumping back and forth. It was like really flashy, the Tyrion fight, and half the time I was just like. And plus, the problem with bringing 3-on-1 is that usually you'll notice this in the Tyrion fight. It's a guaranteed thing. The majority of the time, it's actually 2-on-1. There's always one person missing that's not doing anything in that fight. So while you have Clover and Crow team up on Tyrion and he's like battling them off, at that point there's no arrows being fired or like Robin's not doing anything. And then when Robin fires something, you'll notice that Crow or Thingy, they're not doing anything. So it's like they're taking turns fighting him. And I'm just like, why? Like, this is where you gotta... It's a challenge because you brought this into a 4-way fight. But that's your challenge to figure out. You did this, you have to sort it out. And I don't think that was a good fight. The Tyrion fight was a bad fight. It was really poorly done. I won't give credit to that, and it made Tyrion look like a bit of an ass. How easily he got his ass kicked. The whole, oh, I'm laughing like the Joker. Oh shit, something blew up in my face. Oh shit, I'm down. And I'm just like, oh, the fuck? Really? I mean, it's like the good luck and the bad luck didn't even factor into this fight at all. At all. So it's like, what the fuck's the point of their semblances? Oh, they cancel each other out. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of stupid. Everyone's been saying that since the beginning of the season. The only people who enjoy their semblances cancelling each other out are the ones that just shipping them together. No one else liked the idea. Actually going into the concept of how their semblances work makes no sense that they should be within proximity to each other. Someone actually pointed out that when Crow has bad luck, it always befalls people around him. So in that respect, it's good luck to him. It just depends on his relationship to those around him. As it's been stated, if he's versing someone in a fight and it's bad, it's essentially good luck. It's not bad luck, because something goes wrong for his enemy. So Crow's semblance is not necessarily bad luck. It's more of... It's technically good and bad luck in a kind of probability factor. That's what I'm starting to look at it. It's like a probability factor of... what's that movie? A series of unfortunate events. That best describes Crow. Crow is a series of unfortunate events to those around him. But it doesn't discriminate. And I'm just like, the fact that Thingy comes along and he has good luck for him. He doesn't have good luck for those around him. So the bad luck would still affect people around Crow, but it should not affect him because of his good luck. So it's only those two individuals. And Crow has been shown to be around other individuals this season, so bad luck should still spread to the people around him, besides that one individual. So, just pointing that out. So, gone over the two fights. Ruby crying like a bitch. Team Ruby can go to hell. The key point about the time-space continuum shit. Oh, Oscars. Yeah, they win after Oscar. Maybe this will finally get Ospen off his fucking ass. Thingy's going after the Winter Maiden. She's gonna become the Winter Maiden. I don't see... Like, if Winter goes... Oh, well, Cinder... Cinder is following Winter to the Winter Maiden. And Neo grabbed Oscar. Yeah, that sums it up. I don't know, man. I'm like, there's too many factors. Like when you definitely watch this, a lot of stuff does shock you, and the episode impresses you. Again, I'm just happy that Team Rwby was really thrown under the bus this episode. Like, they've had this coming for a fucking while. I'm so sick of their shit that I'm glad this has happened. Guess we'll see what's happening, going on next time. I'm just trying to think the last thing that's kind of on my mind with all Team Rwby, blah 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 blah. I don't know. I really don't know. And I think there's just a bit disappointment that Rwby's meltdown. Like, I would have liked it. You know when Ruby's eyes went all flashy and she collapsed and she was just crying? It was like her head was in actual pain. I would have liked if that took her out of the episode. Like, she's just on the ground. Like, Yang's on the ground holding her and she's just grabbing her head and she's just like screaming. Like, she literally breaks, snaps. And the whole time that Ironwood's going on about his plan for the greater good, or, you know, we're going to launch the arena, fuck Mantle and that. You know, have Blake, Yang, no, Blake and Weiss. Have Blake and Weiss yelling at him like, well, you can't do that, blah, 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 blah. And have Yang look up like, this is wrong, but she's also concerned about Rwby, and just have Rwby out of it. Like, she's struggling to keep her head together. I reckon that could have been really interesting to show this huge breaking point. I think she recovered way too fast from that little breakdown. And then she's just moved on like, oh, it doesn't bother me anymore. I'm done. That's half an hour.